Hello everybody, CVM here at GPOrlando. We got something a little unique for you guys this time, is I'm going to be building my actual sealed pool here on camera so that everybody will be able to see, all the different thought processes I go through in building my deck, similar to what we did in the live versus video last night. And then I'll be going over how I built my deck with somebody that's going to be watching me actually build. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And again, this is my actual sealed pool, so hopefully none of my opponents get to watch this. Let's go ahead and jump right in and take a look. So, and even though this was a pre-registered pool, I'm still going to go through and verify everything. No foil fetch land, unfortunately. All right. Well, just at first glance, the pool does not look very powerful. We have a couple decent rares, like there's a Crater's Claws, but there aren't very many Outlast guys, and I would much rather prefer to be Abzan with some Outlast guys in this format. But let's go ahead and see what we've got. So here's our fixing. I don't think this card is playable at all. This card is not playable in my opinion. Got some banners. As far as the white cards go, we really only have a couple cards that are quite playable. This guy is a maybe. Our blue cards are halfway decent, which is a good thing. We only have we have two lands that have blue fixed in them, so I have a feeling that just from glancing over the deck, I'm going to end up Sultai splashing red for an Arc Lightning and the Crater's Claws that I have. Let's take a look. In black, we definitely have two pieces of removal, which is good. Couple enablers for Delve, because there are two treasure cruises in our blue. I went through in the green, there were a couple Hooting Mandrills. So red, Arc Lightning's good. I have Howl the Horde, Crater's Claws. We're just going to combo kill our opponents. These cards are all marginal. I don't really think these cards are playable. Definitely see myself splashing these two. Just about whatever I play.
Once again, time is up in registration and build. At this point, we will be making pairings and posting them momentarily. New players did have a time extension.
I really want to play a Trail of Mystery deck, and we actually do have the secret plans to go along with it. So depending on how many morphs I have, I might just try and build that deck. Secret plans. We do have an Ivory Tusk Fortress. We have this Sultai Ascendancy, which I think is very good, along with the Charm and the Soothsayer. So I actually really like Secret Plans, how it allows us to protect our morphs from other morphs. Like being a 2/3 is pretty big in this format. I know I'm probably going to want to be playing these three. From the looks of it, I don't think I'm going to play white. And we only have one land that I could splash this fortress off of, so I'm definitely not going to be splashing the Ivory Tusk Fortress. The Mind Swipe might have potential since I'm going to be splashing red for Crater's Claws and Arc Lightning. We're definitely going to want to play these cards, potentially Secret Plans.
Once again, judges,
So, start building. We've got a Soothsayer, Charm, Ascendancy. Definitely want the Murderous Cut. Right. Ancestor, Nightblade. Probably going to end up playing these cards too. Arc Lightning, Crater's Claws. Island Game to fill out our curve. We've got some Hooting Mandrills. Potentially some Morph Guys here. Maybe Roar the Challenge in Dragon Scale, I'm not sure. And then we'll be playing the Aerialists. Spell Snatcher, Wind Scout, Embodiment. Disdainful.
By the sword finger. Once again, sleep-in special players with 1 buy or seedings for deck construction will be posted by the sword finger at the front of the wall.
I think that Revelation is probably just better than Weave Fate for us, since we do have these Delve guys. I have a feeling that Sultai Ascendancy can just be really good, since it's just like a double Thassa every turn. So this here is 24. I kind of want to play this. The Arc Lightning might be too low impact, I guess, to splash. But I know I want to play a Mountain to go along with my Embodiment of Spring, so it might be worth playing the Arc Lightning. I'm not a big fan of these Woolly Loxodons, so I think we have to play them to fill our curve. Although, turning face up for 6 isn't that bad. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we only have 3 Morph creatures, so playing these two really isn't. I have a Dragon Ice once, but might be worth actually playing that guy. Question is, how many Treasure Cruises do you play? Because I have Sultai Ascendancy, I think I want to play both.
once again, judges, if you assign a time extension for this registration, please go to those tables where you assign that time extension and confirm that that list has been turned in.
I'm really not a big fan of Highland Game, but you really have to fill your curve. And it gives us something, like if we can trade it with a Morph, then we can use it for Delve later on, which is fine. We don't have a Sultai banner. So I don't think that I want to be playing a banner here. I definitely want to be playing this Secret, since I have 1, 2, 3, 5 Delve cards that I want to be playing. We have 5 dual lands that we get to play. It's pretty good. So I definitely want to try and fit this Secret in. I have 14 guys. I usually like being 14, 15, 16, so I don't really want to cut any creatures. And I don't want to cut any of my removal. I kind of just want to cut this Arc Lightning. These 2 cards are actually very good as well. Old Dragon Scale Bloom, Roar Challenge. The cancels are going to be good sideboard cards. I don't like the Hexproof guy. think playing 2 Treasure Cruise might be a little greedy. But I do have some enablers. Gotta have big game. Alright, well, I think I'm just gonna cut the Arc Lightning. It'll definitely be a card that I sideboard in. I like having 4 or 5 1/2 drops, because we have to try and fill out our long game here. I gotta cut one more card. Maybe only playing 1 cruise is fine. Like between Sultai Ascendancy and Soothsayer and Bitter Revelation, I think I'm gonna have a pretty good chance of finding it. Any other red cards that I might be sideboarding? Really, it's just going to be this Crater's Claws and Arc Lightning. Alright, so I think this is the main 23 I'm going to go with. Play. Alright, so let's go ahead and do our mana base now. So we've got a bunch of dual lands. I know that I want to play a mountain. Six. We're going to play 17 lands. We've already got 6 here. At least with 11 more basics. 1, 2, 3. So we already have 4 black sources. And I think that I want 7 black sources. I go 3 swamps, 2 green sources. I think I just want to try and have like 7 of each. And blue, 1, 2. So how many is that? So I have to cut 2 lands from here. Maybe I only need 6 black sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. So I have 11 green mana symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 blue. And 10 black. So they're really all the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe I don't need to play the mountain. Or since I have no actual double green or double blue, but I can just get by with 6 black, 6 blue, 6 green, 7 black. Yeah, I think that's probably good. Yeah, so that's how I'm gonna go with it. So we've got 4 forests, 4 islands, 3 swamps, and this is our Sultai / Temur deck. Yeah, I don't think we got anything that we're missing. We have some sweet sideboard cards with an Arc Lightning, a Mind Swipe, 2 counter spells. I was kind of hoping I'd have a bunch of morphs so I can go Secret Plan's Trail of Mystery, but I don't really. A couple naturalizes. Like we didn't really open any cards that were just like overpowered, but I feel like the Delve synergy that we have here with our Sultai Ascendancy and some Hooting Mandrills and whatnot will allow us to. We'll probably be a little behind towards the beginning of the game, but get to a point where we're casting 2 or 3 spells in a row, and that's it.
Hello everyone, Nick Miller here. CVM, you just saw him build his deck live. We're going to go over his pool real quick, ask him some questions, and see what he feels about his deck here. Now, yesterday, you were a big fan of the Abzan tribe.
Yep.
Today you got Sultai.
Yep.
What do you think about Sultai, and where is that in your ranking of clans you can play?
Well, I definitely, if I had my pick, it'd be Abzan, then Jeskai, and Sultai would be third.
Okay.
I would prefer Sultai over Mardu or Temur. So I'm not that unhappy. I think this deck is actually really powerful. I'm excited. Well, I'm looking forward to getting a bunch of practice games in ahead of time to figure out how to actually play it. Since cards like Sultai Ascendancy are not very easy to play, but they are extremely powerful and can win you the game all by themselves. So I want to get some reps under my belt with using that card.
Right.
But the deck itself is pretty powerful. The mana, I might have some concerns with the mana since my colors are spread pretty evenly, but I do have 3 on-color dual lands and then the 2 splash dual lands for the Crater's Claws. So hopefully things work out well.
And you got that and Embodiment of Spring, which can help you fetch up whatever you need.
Yep.
And you've got the Delve theme here, and you've got a bunch of the Sultai, haymakers when you want Sultai. You've got the Charm, you've got the Ascendancy, and you've got the Soothsayer here, which is a decent body and card selection, as well as fueling the Delve mechanic.
Yeah, 5 toughness is just like almost impossible to get through. In the format, like Arrow Storm's like the only card that just flat out kills it, and even then they have to attack into you to actually make it happen. So, being an X5 is real big.
All right. So we'll look at the creature suite here. You got Embodiment Spring, which is really just mana fixing. You're not going to be doing any damage with that guy.
And he goes in the graveyard to be delved.
And fuels Delve. But you got Disowned Ancestor, so you got at least one decent Outlast to go along with Merrick Nightblade, who's the Death Touch guy. So you can even have that combo later on in the game.
Yep.
You got 2 Highland Game, just 2/1. When it dies, you gain life, and you don't mind it dying. It's going to help you delve.
Highland Game is much like Wetland Sandbar you'll find in these Sultai decks. They're just curve fillers that you hope will trade with a morph.
Right.
Cross your fingers, hope you get to trade with a morph, and then you get to be a Lotus Petal for your Hooting Mandrills.
Right. Speaking of morph, you've got 2 Woolly Loxodons here at the 3 slot, because that's really a morph, but he is a huge body at 6 mana for an unmorph. So.
Yeah, if you ever get to play with one of these guys face up, you're in a good spot. Just beware of active trees and get 6 damage is a lot.
Giant 6/7 body. You've got the Jeskai Wind Scout, so you got a little bit of evasion to go along with your River Wheel Aerialist. And highlight from last night's Versus video, the Keru Smell Snatcher. You can just counter spells and give you whatever card you choose to counter.
Yeah, I've had this card quite a few times. In fact, in one of my 2-headed giant things that I did at the pre-release, my team, we had 2 of them, and we got to put them in one deck. And I've just been very impressed with this card every time I've played it. And I honestly, it's getting closer and closer to pack one, pick one type of card for me. So I'm very happy to have it in any sealed deck that can actually play blue.
Right. Very powerful. You've got the Scaldkin, and you have the red splash to even enable it if you need it.
All the value.
Little flying action doesn't hurt, and 2 Hooting Mandrills fill out the creature suite. You've got plenty of delve going on here, so 4/4 Trampler. It's a pretty good body. Now you're splashing red primarily for this guy, the Fireball, Crater's Claw, just win games out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You even got some ferocious enablers, so who knows? You might get the extra points of damage.
We got a couple.
Interesting decisions you were making in deck building. You chose to go with just one treasure cruise.
Yeah.
Was that one of the last cuts?
Yeah, it was actually my last cut. It was the 24th card. And I felt like, even though I wanted to play two, between Sultai Ascendancy, Bitter Revelation, and Sultai Soothsayer, I feel like I have a good shot of finding the one.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll need to cast more than one.
Yeah, getting one of those guys is pretty good. And with Bitter Revelation and Rakshasa's Secret, you have more ways to fill your graveyard as well to help fuel Delve. So, you know, you got Mind Rot to strip their hand, and you can refill your hand with Bitter Revelations.
Yeah, I feel like Mind Rot is actually really good in this format as opposed to, you know, when it's been printed in the last couple blocks. Just because, like, with the morph mechanic, people are getting cards out of their hand fairly early, and then, you know, spending some mana in the mid game, stranding some cards in their hand, and sometimes you can just catch two real good cards.
They're just not emptying their hand when they're trying to spend 5 mana on morphs.
Yeah, exactly.
Things like that. All right, the sideboard has some pretty good options too. You got a couple naturalizes for trouble, you know, artifact enchantments. You got 2 cancels, which will be very good, you know, when you know what their bombs are.
I feel like I'm going to be bringing that one in a lot.
Yeah. Now the interesting one here is the Mind Swipe. You know, another quasi fireball. You know, it's situational, but to have access to 2 X spells seems pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely. I don't think I want to start it because it's not like an actual removal spell like you can use a Crater's Claws. But if I play against somebody that has, like, you know, a Sorin, a Wingmate Rock, a Sarkin, a High Sentinels of Arashin, like, I'm going to want as many cards as possible to stop those from getting into play.
You just have to have answers for those crazy cards.
Yeah, you just,
and
so
another
those
card,
cards can just win the game by themselves.
Another card you were considering putting in the main deck that's in the sideboard is the Arc Lightning. You know, you have the red enablers in here, but not quite strong enough to make the main deck.
Yeah, I think Arc Lightning is very good, but you want to cast it on, you know, turn 3 when you can hit like a 1-drop and a morph. And in this deck, it's not always going to happen then. So, like, I'm going to bring it in against, like, the Mardu decks that have a lot of 1-drops.
Yeah, a bunch of X1s.
Yeah, just a bunch of X1s. Or a deck that has just, like, a bunch of morphs as a way to handle it. So, like, I definitely plan on bringing it in against those types of decks. But I don't think I want to start it because a lot of times it'll just be a dead card in my hand because I won't have the red mana.
All right. This one looks pretty fun. I mean, you've got all kinds of power. You've got the synergy. You're a little light on the creatures, but the creatures you do have are pretty huge, so they should be able to win the game.
That's the hope.
All right, well, I'm going to let you use your buys, go get you some practice rounds in, and hopefully you'll be ready to tear it up. CVM, thanks for sitting down with me. Stay tuned to Star City Games all weekend long for the action here at GPOrlando.